It was a warm summer evening when Michael Thompson, an ordinary high school senior, found himself staring up at the stars, just like any other night. But tonight was different. A faint shimmer in the sky caught his eye, far more intense than any shooting star he had ever seen. As the seconds passed, the shimmering grew larger, and to his astonishment, a spacecraft descended toward Earth, silently cutting through the atmosphere. Michael's heart raced as the craft landed in a nearby field, casting a luminous glow on the grass. He ran toward it, driven by a curiosity he could hardly contain. The ship's hatch opened, revealing beings unlike anything he had ever seen. Tall, slender, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver. Their eyes glowed with a soft, ethereal light, and their movements were graceful, almost otherworldly. "You are Michael Thompson," one of them spoke in a voice that resonated within his mind, not his ears. "We have been waiting for you. You have been chosen." Michael blinked, bewildered. "Chosen for what?" "You are to attend the school beyond the stars," they replied, the message clear and urgent. "Your education is about to take a new direction, one that spans galaxies and defies everything you know about the universe." And with that, the beings extended their hands, and Michael's world changed forever. The journey begins. The spacecraft soared higher, leaving Earth far behind. Michael gazed out the window, watching as the familiar blue orb became a distant speck. He felt a strange mix of excitement and fear, the vastness of space overwhelming his senses. Hours later, the ship arrived at a place Michael could only describe as a floating city, nestled among a cluster of stars. It wasn't just a school, it was a massive, otherworldly institution, with towering structures and holographic displays that flickered across the skyline. Michael's mind raced as he stepped off the ship, taking in the futuristic technology and alien architecture. The beings who had brought him here led him to a massive hall, where students from all over the galaxy were gathered. Some looked humanoid, while others resembled creatures he couldn't even begin to categorize. Four-armed, translucent-skinned, and with minds that seemed to hum with intelligence. But despite their differences, all were dressed in the same uniform. A shimmering fabric that changed color with each step. "You will be placed in a group with others who share your potential," one of the beings told him. "Here, you will learn about the vastness of the universe, the forces that shape it, and the technologies that bind it together." Michael had always excelled at school on Earth, but this was something beyond his wildest dreams. The teachers. The first day of classes was unlike anything Michael could have imagined. His teachers were not just beings of flesh and blood. They were sentient beings of pure energy, ancient minds that had existed for millennia. They spoke not through words, but through thought, instantly transmitting knowledge directly into the minds of their students. There was Professor Zorthar, a being of swirling, glowing energy who taught quantum mechanics, explaining concepts that Michael could barely grasp, let alone understand. Professor Elira was a creature whose body was constantly shifting, her form always in flux, teaching astrophysics and the laws of gravity in ways that defied conventional science. Then there was Professor Valara, a sentient tree-like creature who guided Michael through history, an endless catalog of intergalactic wars, peace treaties, and ancient civilizations that predated even the rise of humanity. Despite the overwhelming nature of the teachings, Michael felt an undeniable sense of wonder. Every lesson stretched his understanding of reality, and every moment made him feel more like a small piece in an infinitely larger puzzle. But there was something more. The students, too, were extraordinary. They weren't just from Earth. They hailed from every corner of the galaxy, from planets that existed in realms beyond time, from species that had evolved in ways humanity could never imagine. They were all learning together, sharing knowledge, and, unknowingly, shaping the future of the cosmos. The hidden curriculum. As the weeks passed, Michael began to notice something strange. Some students were not as enthusiastic as others. They were quiet, withdrawn, and seemed to be hiding something, an unease that was not present in the more curious students. Michael couldn't shake the feeling that there was a secret to the school, something the teachers weren't telling him. One night, he followed a group of students down a narrow, dimly lit corridor. It was an area of the school that he hadn't seen before, tucked away behind doors that seemed to materialize out of nowhere. The students led him into a hidden chamber, where ancient relics and alien artifacts lay scattered across the room. "This is the real reason we're here," one of the students whispered. "To learn the truth about the cosmos, the things they don't teach us in class, the forces that govern everything, and the enemies that threaten it." Michael was stunned. What had he stumbled upon? He knew the school had to have its mysteries, but he hadn't expected anything like this. Was this what they meant by learning beyond the stars? To uncover the truths that no one else knew? Before he could ask more questions, the walls of the chamber shifted, and an intense presence filled the room. It was one of the beings, the ones who had brought him here. "Michael," it said, its voice a cold echo in his mind. "You were not meant to discover this. The path you are on has already been chosen, and you will not stray from it. Forget what you have seen." But Michael knew he couldn't forget. Not now. Not after what he had witnessed. There was something much bigger at play, and he was right in the middle of it. The battle for knowledge. Michael's mind raced as he returned to his studies. But now, he saw everything through a new lens. The lessons were no longer just academic. They were pieces of a much larger puzzle. The school was training them not just to understand the universe, but to protect it from the dark forces that sought to destroy it. He began to form alliances with other students, those who shared his desire to uncover the truth. Together, they began to study the forbidden texts, the ancient tomes that held the keys to understanding the true power of the galaxy. The students whispered of a coming war, a war not just between civilizations, but between the forces of light and the shadow that sought to consume everything. And Michael realized his education was not just about learning, it was about preparing for a conflict that would determine the future of the entire universe. The final test. The day came when Michael and his fellow students were summoned to the school's central hall. The time had arrived for their final test, a test that would determine if they were ready to join the ranks of the universe's greatest defenders. The test was simple, or so it seemed: survive the trial. But when the doors opened, Michael was thrust into a battle unlike any he had imagined. He faced not just the challenges of the physical realm, but the very fabric of reality itself. He was tested in ways that defied reason, forced to confront his deepest fears and make impossible choices. Every moment felt like an eternity, and every decision could mean the difference between life and death. At the end of it all, Michael emerged victorious, but changed. He had learned more than he ever could have dreamed, about the universe, about himself, and about the hidden forces that shaped everything. And as the school's doors closed behind him, Michael realized that his journey was just beginning. The universe had much more to teach him, and much more for him to protect. The school beyond the stars had not just educated him, it had forged him into something greater, something necessary. The fate of the galaxy was now in his hands.